In this video, we will be looking at how to create and use a whiteboard within Microsoft Teams. We will cover the various tools available within a whiteboard, as well as how to enable student contributions and how to export a whiteboard at the end of a lesson. Microsoft Whiteboard is a standalone whiteboard tool which can be accessed online via Office 365, but it can also be integrated directly with Microsoft Teams. Whiteboards can be used within a team in a traditional sense, but with the added ability for multiple users to add content simultaneously. Other documents such as images, PowerPoints or PDFs can also be inserted into a whiteboard for the purposes of discussion or annotation. Each team can have multiple whiteboards if necessary, and they can be exported as an image at any time to record the learning and teaching which has taken place. To start a whiteboard in Microsoft Teams, select the plus icon at the top of any given channel to add a new tab. Then select Whiteboard. You can now give your whiteboard a name. If you plan to use this whiteboard for a specific topic, you may wish to name it after that. However, if it's just going to be a generic whiteboard, you may wish to leave the name as Whiteboard. You can also choose to post about the new whiteboard within your channel if you wish. To maximise the available space on your whiteboard, select the drop-down menu on the tab and select Expand tab. By default, the whiteboard is not set up for collaboration. This means that only team owners will be able to contribute to the whiteboard. To change this, select the Settings menu in the top right-hand corner and enable Collaborative Cursors. This can be toggled on and off at any time. The standard tools within our whiteboard are our inking tools, and these can be accessed via the toolbar at the top of the screen. Any inking tool can be selected, and if clicked twice, we can change the settings for this particular tool. This includes being able to change the thickness of the tool, the colour of the tool, and whether arrows are added to the end of the lines which we draw. For example, I can set this first tool to a rainbow colour, have no arrows selected with a thickness of 6, and if I zoom to an appropriate level, I'll be able to draw with this particular tool. With another tool I have set up, I may wish to have the arrows enabled. This means that any line that is drawn has arrowheads added automatically to either end or to one end. Our first three tools are pens, and by editing each of these pens, you can have 3 tools to quickly change between of different styles and colours. The next tool is the highlighter. Again, this can be clicked on twice in order to change the thickness of the highlighter tool and its colour. This can be useful when we are highlighting areas within a document that we have perhaps inserted into our whiteboard. Next, we have a laser pointer tool, and this can be useful for drawing students' attention to a particular part of your whiteboard. Again, by clicking twice on the laser pointer, we have the option of changing the colour. After the laser pointer is the eraser, which, as its name suggests, can be used to erase any other inking which has taken place on this slide. We then have the ruler. This can be repositioned by clicking and dragging anywhere on the ruler surface. We can also change the angle of the ruler by scrolling within the centre circle of the ruler. With the ruler in place, we can select a pen tool and use this to help us when drawing straight lines. Finally, we have the lasso select tool, which can be used to draw an area over any inking we have done in order to reposition or delete. One of the useful features with the inking tools is the ability to have shapes that we draw automatically recognised and enhanced. To enable this, select the Settings cog and enable the Enhance Inked Shapes option. With this tool enabled, when I draw a particular shape with a pen tool, the shape will be enhanced. For example, if I was to draw a rough triangle here, the whiteboard recognises this as a triangle and enhances the shape. The same could be said for squares and circles. After the inking tools, further tools can be found within the Create tab. From here we have the ability to add things such as sticky notes. We can choose to add individual notes or grids of notes to our whiteboard. To add a note, select it and then click on your whiteboard. This can be a good place for adding text. This can be a useful tool for students adding their ideas to the whiteboard in response to a particular prompt. Other users of the whiteboard can also react to these sticky notes. We also have the ability to add text to the whiteboard using the text tool. Once selected, we can click anywhere on the whiteboard to begin adding text. With the text box selected, we have the option to change the colour of the text, as well as to delete or copy this particular text box. We then have the ability to add shapes or lines to our whiteboard as well. Again, select the shape you wish to add and click anywhere on the whiteboard to add this shape. The shape can be resized by clicking and dragging on its corner handles. We can also change the fill colour and line colour of this particular shape. Images can also be added to your whiteboard. You can choose to upload images which you have saved on your own device, or by selecting Bing Image, you'll be able to search the web. This feature will be added soon. Reactions can also be added. This can be another way to leave feedback for responses that pupils have added to the whiteboard. As the teacher, you may wish to add reactions to a particular contribution from a pupil. Pupils themselves will also be able to add reactions as well. Templates can be added to whiteboards to support given tasks such as brainstorming, target settings, exit tickets, etc. To do this, expand the Create tab by selecting the plus icon. Select Templates, and then find the relevant section and template you wish to use. Select the required template, and then click on the whiteboard to place this template. You can choose to expand the template by clicking and dragging on one of the corner handles. You can also zoom in by scrolling with your mouse wheel. If you wish to delete the template, simply click on the delete icon. A variety of different templates are available. Word, PowerPoint and PDF documents can be inserted into the whiteboard for the purposes of annotation and discussion. These documents will be inserted as images within your whiteboard. To insert a document, expand the Create tab and then select Documents. You'll then be prompted to find the relevant file within your Glow OneDrive or via the file sections within any team you have on Glow. After selecting the required document, press Select. For multi-page Word documents or PDF documents, or PowerPoints which have more than one slide, you will then be prompted to select which slides or pages of the document you wish to insert into your whiteboard. Select the required pages and then select Insert. There is also a Select All button in the top right hand corner. These slides or pages of your document have now been inserted as images into your whiteboard. Note that this means that any interactive features of your slides or documents will not be available, for example embedded videos. These images can now be individually manipulated in order to increase their size, change their position, etc. We can use the inking tools to annotate these slides. Other features which can be accessed via the Settings menu include the ability to export an image. This will export your entire whiteboard in its current state as an image. This image is automatically saved in your PC's Downloads folder. We can also format the background. When this option is selected, we can change the background colour of our whiteboard, and we also have the ability to apply grids as well. It's worth noting that the whiteboard is an infinite canvas. This means that you can zoom and pan indefinitely in order to maximise your workspace. To zoom on the whiteboard, we have the plus and minus icons in the bottom right hand corner for zooming in and out. We can also do this simply by using the scroll wheel on our mouse. It is probably best to begin at 100% and then adjust accordingly. To pan across the canvas, use the Select tool and click and drag to move the whiteboard around. It's also worth noting that changes are saved automatically. When we choose to return to our team and then access the whiteboard again, all existing content remains within the whiteboard. Remember, with collaborative cursors enabled, all members of the team will be able to edit the content of the whiteboard. Ensure to disable this option to prevent pupils from editing or deleting content that you have added to the whiteboard. Whiteboards are a great way to communicate ideas and collaborate with others during a Teams meeting. To start a whiteboard within your Teams meeting, navigate to the Share tray and select Whiteboard. When the whiteboard first opens, you have the option to collaborate or present. Collaborate means that everyone within the meeting will be able to contribute to your whiteboard, whereas present means that only the presenter can choose to edit the whiteboard. And this is where we will start. Currently, the whiteboard is set to read only, where only myself as the presenter has the ability to add content to this whiteboard. Whiteboards can also be used for collaboration. Select the cog icon in the top right hand corner and enable the option which says other participants can edit. This allows all attendees of your meeting to contribute to the whiteboard.